Peace to the family. It's been a minute. It's been a minute, and man, it feel good. It feel good. It feel good. Today I got a special show for you guys. Most of the time when I'm doing interviews, I'm interviewing people that actually related to Dr. Sebi or walked with Dr. Sebi. But after I'm listening to a lot of Dr. Sebi videos that I've filmed, he actually was a master student. And I like the fact that healing didn't die with Dr. Sebi. And I had a private conversation with a good friend, and I told him that if Dr. Sebi was alive today, he wouldn't be following the Dr. Sebi of 2016 because he's always evolving. A prime example, his nutritional guide, he would have almond milk and then he wouldn't have almond milk. So I would ask Dr. Sebi, I thought you said almond milk was good. So he said, yeah, almond milk is good, but the average person is going to go and buy almond milk and they put some preservatives inside the almond milk to make it last in the supermarket. So those preservatives is not what's good. The average person is not going to go take some almond and some spring water and make their own almond milk. So instead of doing all of that, he just said, it's just not good. And so when I see people that are changing the game, when I say changing the game, this brother and sister, well, we blessed enough to have one of them here. We got half of the crew, but I promise y'all we're gonna get his queen here. Um, they changing the game. And it's a funny story how I met this brother. I actually thought he was a probation officer or some kind of bail bondsman. We're gonna get into that story when I get him online. But I will tell you that I got my note. He's an alkaline eclectic chef. He's an author. He's the founder or co-founder of the Alkaline Eclectic Society. Co-founder. There's two of them. So wherever there's a good man, got a good woman in back of him, and he actually they dedicate their lives into healing, and I really can't wait for you guys to listen to them. They from Brooklyn, I believe, but they not in Brooklyn, or they started their journey in Brooklyn. We're gonna get the complete story from him and when we get back, so this tribute, they haven't even seen it yet. So this is something I made specifically for them. And I'm letting you know now, I'm going to send this to you right after our interview, but this is yours. Publicly, I can tell you this is your intellectual property. Do what y'all want with it. All right. So after this intro, we're gonna have my brother Carl Crush Foster in the building.
Listen up, Brooklyn. You know you are my people. Back again. Thank you.
Peace, my brother.
That was crazy. I never saw that.
I actually got the bigger version for you. I just had to make it small so it could fit in the intro. But I hope you like it, man. How you doing, man?
Oh, yo, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, all good. I'm blessed.
How's your beautiful wife?
She's fantastic. She's good. I'm glad. I'm sorry she couldn't be here with us tonight, but she's gonna make one. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for accepting my invitation. It's been long coming. We really should have been did this
Yeah.
based on our history. Thanks for coming, man. I appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, okay. Well, as you heard in my intro, I honestly thought you was bail bondsman. And I know you know why I thought that.
Yeah, yeah,
Because our brother Victor, every time he was getting in trouble,
yeah,
he would give you my number and you would call me. And every time we spoke in how many years? Like not 7, 8 years ago?
yeah. Probably about seven,
About
8 years. Yeah,
Yeah, it was always about trying to get Victor out of jail.
right.
So I thought you was some kind of law enforcement. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
after doing an interview with my brother Willie Lynch Jr., you got to
yeah,
put the pause when you say the junior.
yeah,
I find out that you and your wife are some amazing um, chef and
yeah,
herbalist.
yeah.
And I wanted to tell you that I had to go get this.
Uh,
I had to go get this.
yeah.
Um, and this is an amazing book. I would recommend. I actually have the link in the bio. I would recommend anybody who want to get started or just thinking about alkaline living. This book is amazing. This is a great starter kit. It doesn't overwhelm you. It's like if you're speaking to a 4-year-old. I love this book.
Thank you very much.
And I'm gonna show you something real quick that I saw. We connected.
Yeah.
This is the first picture I ever took of Dr. Sebi.
Wow, that's a
If you
classic.
if you see him back there,
Yep.
same picture.
Yeah, that's a
So
classic.
when I see this picture, I said, this picture follows me everywhere.
Yeah.
So talk to me, man. How you doing today?
Man, fantastic. Really, really happy to be on the show with you, man. This is an honor for real.
Okay, okay. Thank you for being here. You know I got some questions for you, brother.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
first of all, actually, when we spoke briefly, you got to break this down. You said you never met Dr. Sebi, but you hung up on Dr. Sebi. Can you explain that to me? Because I was like, what?
Well, when first let me go back a little bit. When we
Okay.
had a restaurant in Brooklyn, um, Ma'a used to call and order vegetable soup.
Hmm.
And one day I'm working and somebody handed me the phone and I got my hands are busy. So I put the phone in my ear and I'm like, hello. And it was this little voice asking me about the vegetable soup and was asking me to take the peas and the carrots out of the soup. And I was like, maybe they got an allergy or something, but they're not going to all be out. I'm going to do my best. And I was like, yeah, no problem. So she was then it started to become a daily thing. By the third time, the third day that she ordered it, I was like, all right, what is this about the peas and carrots in the soup? Because she was like, does it have to be that many? And I was like, well, I mean, it's all together. Like I make the soup. So by the third time, she sent her son to come pick up the soup, and it happened to be Sesa. And I didn't know him, and I was like, "So what's the deal with the carrots and the peas? Why is your mom telling me to take them out of the soup?" And he started telling me about Dr. Sebi, and his healing and his herbs and the compounds, and I was like, "Wow, that's fascinating." But I still didn't put two and two together. I didn't really think anything of it. And then my wife became sick because what we had was a vegan restaurant, and we were selling a lot of vegan goods and a lot of meat replacements and stuff.
What was
Had
the name of it?
a healthy crush. First, it was Juice Hugger because we made juice cleanses and juice fasts, and
Okay.
we would stock. We had up to about 10 stores throughout Brooklyn that we would stock. So I come in
Oh
at 5 in
wow.
the morning, make all the juices, and run them to the stores, stock the stores, and then I would come back and open the restaurant for business. So we were crazy busy, and the cafe part was called A Healthy Crush. I'm Crush, and I got healthy, and so we did the little play on words. And my
Oh,
wife became sick. She had leaky gut. She was dealing with some digestive issues. And I thought to myself, all right, I keep hearing about this Dr. Sebi and the foods and the nutritional guide. And I was like, well, maybe my eyes onto something. Maybe we're eating things that we don't necessarily need to be eating. Let me change. So I realized he had a nutritional guide. So I took that, I stuck it on the refrigerator, and I started cooking from the nutritional guide for her. And in about
you were
7,
already a chef at this time?
already a chef at this time.
Okay.
I was making a plethora of things, mostly vegan stuff.
Okay.
And I started cooking for her. And in about 7 days, she started to get better. And I started to think to myself, all right, we kind of onto something here. This is healthier than what we were cooking. So we started to really change everything in the restaurant, because we're like, if we're not going to eat it, I don't want to serve it to people. So I start removing things and changing things on the menu. And that's kind of how we got started with cooking from the nutritional guide and going on an alkaline journey. From there, what I did was I took the 7 or 8 days of food that we were cooking, and I made a list of everything, all the recipes and everything we had. And I put like a manual together, and people started asking me for it. They were like, well, how did you change your diet to the Sebi diet? What did you make? What did you cook? And at that time, the only person that was really doing stuff from the nutritional guide was Ty's Conscious Kitchen and, myself. And I was like, well, these are the things that I'm doing. And it turned into a book called The Mucus-Free Food Detox. And that thing just went crazy. Everybody wanted that book. So I put it in a group, in one of the Sebi groups, and it just went nuts. 300 and something comments later, they had me publishing a book. I was like, well, I got to publish it then.
Okay, smart.
Published the book, and that was the beginning of everything for us. And so when the book was ready, I was saying, well, we're going to send a copy of this to Sebi. And somebody gave me his phone number. My man Z Malachi gave me his phone number, and I was like, is it really his phone number? I don't know. Like, he's a hero to everybody. Like, this can't be his number. So before the book was finished, I was like, let me just check and make sure this is his number. I called, and sure enough, he answered the phone, but I wasn't ready to talk to him, so I just hung up. I never told anybody. I was like, okay, this is the number. So I know that when we're finished with this book, we can call. So we finished with the book, and like a few weeks before we were going to reach out to him, I heard he was in prison. And like that hamper on everything. Like,
okay.
And when he passed, the whole community, it was like everybody's family member passed away.
Yeah.
And I remember it was so heavy, and it was heavy for like a few months. Like no one knew what to do. Everyone felt real lost with with him not around anymore. But eventually we picked up the mantle and we started saying, all right, well, he left us a blueprint of what to do. And so we just kind of picked up from there. We came out with other books and eventually came out with the book that you have there now.
Love that book. Love that book. And I see the Dr. Sebi nutritional guide in it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I would recommend that book to anybody who's want to start this journey. Like I said, is in the link. Please go check that out. One of the reasons why you're even on my show right now, because like I told you when we spoke, like I can never co-sign or speak about somebody if I haven't tried their products, or I have to try their product to be able to speak honestly, because I have kids, I have my sons, and I preach integrity, and that's in me. Yeah. So I want you to explain this to the world. This gut support.
Yeah.
Brother, let me just tell you my experience real quick before you tell me what's in here.
Yeah.
Like I told you when we spoke, I go regularly. Like I eat and I have to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
This reminded me of when Dr. Sebi gave me the duck.
Oh, wow.
But it didn't have that aggression that the duck have.
Right.
It don't have that aggression that the duck have. I would recommend anybody who want to try the duck, try this first.
Yeah.
The reason why is that I took it as recommended. I took it before I went to bed. Before I go to bed, I take it.
Yeah.
And when I woke up in the morning, I just felt like when I'm using the bathroom, like I'm cleansing myself for some reason. It's like it's not a normal. It's not when I normally use the bathroom. I could feel a difference.
Yeah.
And even when I feel my stomach, I'm like, yo, I feel like I've been doing sit-ups.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Please talk to me about this.
Well, my wife she's the originator of all the formulas, and
as she should be.
Yeah, exactly. The women
Dr.
know.
Sebi said the woman is the healer.
Yeah, the women know they're the healers. And so, after he passed, for a while we didn't really want to make compounds. She would make things and just, for family and friends, and they started becoming so successful with family and friends. And we were like, well, we should now start putting these out. and she wanted to make a formula that didn't just copy his formulas, because that's what people were doing. A lot of folks would just copy his formulas. And so she was like, okay, I'm going to do the research and I'm going to figure out what works. So she would try different things for herself, her friends, her family, her aunts. And this just became solidified as something to the point where we recommend that you take it 5 days on and 2 days off. So
Yeah.
this bottle of 120 capsules is a 2-month supply.
Yes.
So instead of a 1-month supply, it's a 2-month supply. We say take it 5 days on and then take 2 days off, because the digestive system can begin to rely on that assistance. And we want to help the digestive system, not give it a crutch to lean on.
Not
And
replace it.
yeah, we don't want to replace it. We just want to strengthen it and enhance it. And so 5 days on, 2 days off, we usually recommend take it at night, so that when you wake up in the morning, you could go and then you're free to move about for the day. So that just makes, really, really convenient. And it's the herbs are so, just knowing from Dr. Sebi and doing our research, we know that the herbs were so potent that if we were to put them together, that they would have a synergy that just really cleanses out the colon. Because he would always say everything starts in the colon. You got to clean the gut first, clean the colon first. And so we knew that it would have to be something that would really, really work, because a lot of times folks may not have that discipline to like really stick it out and make their herbs and prepare everything. So we were like, all right, we need to have something that's just going to really work for people, so that they can, handle their business without, having to think about it too much.
Nah, you guys knocked it out the park with that one. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
And one thing I like about you guys, let me just tell you this real quick. Dr. Sebi didn't really like people who followed everything he did by the book. He was a student. So had you come to Dr. Sebi, because we're going to get into the X39, because brother, you guys, y'all doing it. Had you come into his life and told, he had a signal. If he was on his bed, if he put his hands together like this, that means, Mr. G, get this guy away from me, or get this girl away from me, because he didn't like the people that was sucking up to him all the time. He liked people that come to him and tell him, Doc, did you know if you mix this with this, you can also get this? Then you have all of his attention, because he was a master student.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So congratulations on that. We got to talk about this.
That was the one right there.
Let me tell you my experience with this one.
Okay.
I know you call it nerve support, but I call it limitless. I call it limitless because of the way it makes me feel during the day.
Yeah.
Like I work out, and a lot of people don't know this, but I'm very intense in everything that I do. And I've noticed the difference in my intensity and my focus after I started taking that. That's why I told you before you send it to me, I stopped taking all the other herbs I was taking, because I wanted to see what your herbs can do.
Right.
Because it wouldn't make no sense if I'm taking your herbs and all the other herbs that I'm taking. Then I can't honestly tell you this is how I feel when I take it.
Right.
So please break this down to me, brother.
That right there, that's nerve support. Now that was the one that was for hormone balance. And that was the main one that my wife was taking for herself. And then she started making it for like some of her aunts. And after a while, they start calling her like, you got any more of those, pills that you made? It didn't have a name on the bottle, and then it would just say bottle. And she was making the capsules herself and doing it up and sending them off to them. And eventually folks were like, hey, can I get some more of those? Wow, these are going pretty good. Maybe I should, and that, again, another thing where she was like, all right, let's put this together. So she got the blue vervain in there, the Damiana, the sensitive plant in there, and it just really enhances brain function. It really enhances sexual prowess.
I was about to say that plant, it actually allows oxygen to go in some nice places.
Yeah. Especially that blue vervain. It has almost a metallic flavor to it, and that metallic, I believe, that metallic compound of it, that metallic property of it, is what's is helping our neural pathways and helping electricity to flow a lot better. And that's that circulation and that oxygen that you're getting that goes to either the male or female organs. And it's just really helping with hormonal balance, especially if things are a little bit out of sync. So between the gut support and, cleansing the colon and cleansing off those receptors so you can absorb your minerals better, then you got the nerve support that comes along and is feeding those minerals into your reproductive organs and sending that oxygen throughout the body. So, women just know,
Yeah.
I don't know how to know, but she just knew. And, and I would take it and I'd be like, wow, this makes me feel really, really good. And
Yeah,
so around
that's the
confidence all the time.
that one has an amazing impact. And I like the fact that you guys are generous with the portions. Y'all got some big pills.
Yeah.
Everybody else pills is smaller.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
from the time I took y'all's out, I'm like, yo, it's a generous portion, and every time you take it.
yeah.
So what made y'all make the pills so big and everybody else making them smaller than that?
She just really transferred it from what she was doing, and she was making them for herself. And it was like, well, if this is the size capsule that I'm using, then if we have it manufactured or we manufacture them, I want it to be exactly the same. She didn't want to change anything because she figured out what was working. And it was like, if this is working for my family, it's working for me. Now I feel like I can trust it to be able to give to the public. So I don't want to give anything to the public, because that's the thing. Our consumers and this community are somewhat educated, especially if you're like a student of Dr. Sebi and his work. You know when something is not right. You know when the CMOS ain't right. You know when something's kind of off. So, rather than compromise our integrity and embarrass ourselves, she was like, let me do what works. And if you got good portion, and that was why this one is a 2-month supply, because it was like, let's make it a bigger bottle. Let's put more capsules in it and make it so that people can just buy it once and then use it for 2 months so that they can really get the effects of it. And so,
Wow. Good.
all props to her. I didn't have anything to do with it.
Great.
All of that.
You know what you guys remind me of? You guys remind me of Dr. Sebi and my eye in the beginning.
Yeah.
My eye was in the background doing everything, and Dr. Sebi was in the front talking about everything.
Yeah.
Same situation right now. We're talking. Well, the queen is in the back making putting everything together.
Yeah. And when that day when Cesar came and he told me about Dr. Sebi, and I was like, all right, let me go look him up. At the time, it was still Fig Tree, and they was just now kind of splitting. But his face and his
How
name
long ago was this? What year?
2010, 2009, 2010.
Wow.
So they was just kind of splitting, and his name and his face was still on the Fig Tree site, but it had a message. Like, they were still cool enough where she was like, put a message on there and was like, if you're looking for Dr. Sebi and his products, they're no longer offered on the site. Call this number. So he didn't even have a website yet. It was just a number to call to get his compounds, and it was a voicemail. And if you wanted something, you just leave a voicemail and somebody will get back to you and get you the products. So that was my introduction to kind of like to him. And I was like, well, I don't know how to find him. I could see this nutritional guide on here, which was basically put together by the community. He didn't necessarily develop the nutritional guide. It was put together by recipes that people were submitting together.
Exactly.
Then eventually took that list and was like, all right, I'm gonna study these foods and find out which ones are alkaline or which ones are least detrimental. And then we refined the list. So the list that I got was super raw. It still had almond milk on it, still had almonds on it, still had all of that stuff on it. And so, that's the list that I knew in the beginning. It didn't change until after he opened the spot in LA. And,
Okay. Dr. Sebi sell food.
Yeah. So people in the groups was calling the office like, is this approved? Is this approved? What about this food? What about this food? And things were constantly changing. And that was my introduction to the nutritional guide and to who he was. So when he shot at the Masonic Temple, I was stuck in the kitchen. I couldn't leave because I didn't have anybody for me. I had to run the restaurant. So people were streaming to me. I think I had like a T-Mobile sidekick or something at the time. But people were streaming the show to me, the speech to me on my phone, and it was glitching, and I had to keep putting the phone down and cooking, and I was just really upset that I couldn't make it. But
Wow.
some of it live. I wasn't
Okay, okay.
there.
Nah, that's official, man. And that was November 22nd, 2014.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were still there. We were still there. We didn't close the restaurant until another year and a half or so after that.
Hmm. Okay. Man. All right. Well, we got to come to the third one you sent me.
Yeah. And that's actually the first one. That's the
This the
first one.
first.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk to me about this self support.
That's the self support. That's like the number one compound because that one is, reminiscent of Dr. Sebi's bromide. It's kind of like the bromide and Green Food Plus put together. So
Okay.
instead of doing those two, she put them both together. So it's the sea moss and bladderwrack and the
Hmm.
burdock root, which kind of is like bromide plus. But then she put nettle and watercress in there, and those two got
Wow.
your chlorophyll. They got your iron. They
Hmm.
got good for your circulation. So it's super well rounded. Athletes use it.
This is
People.
a meal for me.
Yeah,
This
we
is
had
a meal for me.
people that were doing iron infusions
Hmm.
and they take that and didn't have to do the iron infusions no
Hmm.
more. We don't promote it as a prenatal drug for women who are pregnant because we were real careful to not really recommend things for women who are pregnant.
Smart
But
man.
pregnant women picked that
Hmm.
up and were taking it and telling
Yeah.
us about it. They were like, I got rid of my prenatals and I took this for like 3 of my kids. Like they
Hmm.
was like taking it every
Wow.
time. This one sister, every time she got pregnant, she bought a bunch of that and she was just taking that instead of her prenatals. And all her kids are like big and healthy now. I always look at him, I'm like, that's the alkaline baby. He's all big now. He's a big man now. But yeah, that one is really nutritious. So
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you for that. Well, I got some questions, man. I have to ask them. All
I'm gonna
right.
see watermelon juice. So
Okay. All right. The first question I got for you is how do you come up with the name the Alkaline Eclectic?
well, the alkaline eclectic is a homage to eclectic medicine. Now, when Sebi would talk and say like he didn't read books, we figured out what that meant. It wasn't necessarily that he didn't read, it was that
Thank you.
what he was reading weren't books. They were treaties. And the treaties were written by eclectic medical practitioners. Now, what is an eclectic medical practitioner? The eclectics were a branch of the American Medical Association, the AMA. And these were doctors that didn't use drugs. They didn't use chemical medicine. They only used plants. They didn't believe in opening the body. His whole thing, if the body was meant to be open, it would have a zipper.
Facts.
They didn't do bloodletting. They didn't do transfusions. They didn't do any of that. They did like hydrotherapy. They used water. They used steam. They used sunlight. They would use plant-based compounds. They would grind up herbs and give them to you to take. And he basically revolutionized what the eclectic medicinal practitioners were doing. And that's why we called it alkaline eclectic. So we put the two together. He was doing the alkaline and those were the eclectic. So we put alkaline eclectic together. And we came out with the Alkaline Eclectic Society, which is basically our information society where we
Hmm.
house all our information about eclectic medicine. Because we wanted to make sure that Dr. Sebi was legitimized, in a way that people couldn't contest a lot of the things that he was saying because what he was practicing and what he brought to the forefront was already a part of the American Medical Association. We felt as though there was a history and a validity to the things that he was recommending and the things that he was doing. And we wanted to encapsulate that because he always talked about institutionalizing the information. He would always say things like, the Ayurvedics, they got their thing, and Paleo, they got their thing, and Chinese medicine, they got their thing. And, people always doing like, all these different diets and modalities. He was like, well, what about my mama? My mama got to have her thing too. What about
Hmm.
us? And
Yes.
so he framed the African biomineral balance. Now, a lot of folks kind of, ran with that and took it. Some people own the name and some people call their stuff that. But
Hmm.
Alkaline Eclectic was more of a historical homage to the information that would institutionalize it in a way that couldn't get bastardized. And that was the reason why we called it Alkaline Eclectic. And so the eclectics, even on the website, on the Dr. Sebi Cell Food website, there was the book by Shook. And there was another one too, like
Mm-hmm.
something about healing. Those doctors were eclectics. And that book that was on the website was only a book because someone compiled it. Really what it was a list of treaties. And so when he would say, I don't read books, they weren't
Mm-hmm.
books, treaties. And he was going to libraries and digging up microfiche and looking at a lot of the old eclectic stuff. So a lot of the herbs and a lot of the practices that he mentioned were actually branches of the American Medical Association. One of the things he talked about was iontophoresis, which
Mm-hmm.
is the process of the plant digging into the soil, wrapping itself around oxide metals like iron. We can't eat the iron, but we can. The plant takes the iron and turns it into a liquid digestible form for humans and animals to consume. So without that buffer of the plant in between the metal or iron and you wouldn't be able to consume the iron. It made it assimilate to you because it would transfer into something that you could consume. And that entire process is called iontophoresis, which was a complete study in the American Medical Association by the eclectics. If you look for that right now, you will not find it. You will not find iontophoresis. You could look it up until the cows come home. I've tried it. You will not
Gone.
find it. It's gone. Totally erased that whole thing. And what you'll find is you'll find some sort of a electric device that transfers electricity through the epidermis into the skin.
Mm-hmm.
That's the process. The nature has that process. Plants do that all the time, but they won't let you find it because if you found that, it would unravel a whole entire thing that would completely mess up the medical industry. So
No,
this is
you
one of those
you spitting straight facts because the only reason I know about it because I videotaped Dr. Sebi talking about it.
things. Yeah.
I've seen it nowhere else, and I've heard of it nowhere else but with you right now.
Yeah, you won't find it. You won't
Yeah.
find it. That was like a big thing to me. Like my head exploded when I dug down that rabbit hole. And for weeks and months, I tried to find it, and you can't.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing that with me, brother.
Yeah.
Let me go to my next question. This question is from me.
Okay.
You know how to put my questions in here too. Who's Gloria Foster and Daniel Kill?
Gloria Foster is my mom.
I know. I want you to talk about her and I want you to talk about Daniel.
That's my mom. She's from Barbados. My family's from Barbados.
Oh, okay.
And my mom has always been a health nut. Like
I'm
she was
asking about it
always
because you dedicated the book to her, Daniel, and Dr. Sebi.
Yeah, she was always a health nut, always had like the vitamins and minerals, and she didn't let us have white bread and all the sugary cereals. If she did buy it, she'd be like, I'm getting one box and y'all get one box. And when it's gone because there's nothing in that but sugar and color. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? It's good, Ma. She's like, drink water. And he's like, we don't want water. Don't got no taste to it. We need some juice. She's like, no, drink water. No white bread, no junk, no colorings, no none of that. And so I didn't understand those things until I got older. My dad, he was a different story. He was like, all right, let's have these Edmonds cakes. We're gonna eat some honey buns. We're gonna have some, you can get junk with my dad. But my mom, she
Um,
was not having that. And so when I got a little older and I started to get into sports and athleticism and karate and swimming and all of that stuff,
are you
I
a
basically
karate man too?
yeah. So I basically had to thank her for that because she took me down the path. And then later on in life, it was like, you know what? Don't eat that. Don't have that because, and I would just be basically regurgitating the things that she said to me. So basically my path in healing and health and just being a healthy person totally came from her. So it was only right to dedicate the book to her. And Daniel Keel is my wife's grandfather. He's a living Tuskegee Airman.
Oh
He's
wow.
103 years old right now. And he just
Oh my.
turned 103. He just renewed his driver's license. He can still drive. He still walks around. He's sharp as a whip. He'll tell you about the news. He'll tell you about what they build in somewhere. Like it's just
Wow.
phenomenal. And he's 103 and still living. So her genes, her genes are good, And
Yeah, wow.
so we basically dedicate them to these two because of their, health journey in life and his, his health journey in life and everything that he's been through. I mean, like if you just heard some of the stories of being a Tuskegee Airman and being so good at being a pilot and just trying to be so disciplined in a time where racism was like crazy, where, he came up against, you name it, he came up against it. And so for him to have longevity and to still be healthy and come to 103 years old, he still tours around and, he'll wear his Tuskegee Airman's jacket and he goes and does speeches and stuff.
He have the original jacket?
Yeah, he's got a
Wow.
lot of his original stuff still. And so those two were like the inspirations for the book, just because of the way that they lived their lives. And it was only right that we picked people that inspired us from our own family in order to dedicate the book to.
Man, great call, man. And where he lives at?
He's in
Daniel.
Florida. He's in Florida.
Yeah, he would be in Florida. I know he ain't getting cold in New York.
He's definitely in Florida now.
All right, cool. All right. You kind of answered this question already, but you can go into it a little bit. Like, tell us about your product and what makes them so unique. I know your wife is the secret,
Yeah.
the one who's making everything, but I deal with a lot of products. And there's something special about your products. Not saying anything against all the other products that I take. And that's
Yeah.
something that I want everybody to know is that healing didn't die with Dr. Sebi.
Right.
Healing didn't start with Dr. Sebi. Dr.
Right.
Sebi told me one thing. He said, he said, there's trillions of herbs in the world. I only know about 600 of them.
Right.
That's why everywhere we went, he was trying to learn from somebody. But what makes your products unique? Like,
that was one of the things that we loved about Dr. Sebi, is that he was what you call an ethnobotanist. And that's another thing that came from the eclectics too. Ethnobotany was the study of plants in different cultures and how those cultures use the plants. And that's why Dr. Sebi would travel all over and figure out how people use things. And then he would also have the different name, because in this country they may call it anamu, and then in this country they call it guinea hen weed, and then in this country they call it something different. And they would have different uses for it. So you would know, okay, this plant is good for this, but it's also good for cleansing the system, and it's also good for, for iron. It's also good for cleansing the colon. It's also good for circulation. Those would be different things that different countries and different cultures would be using it. And that's what ethnobotany was all about. The thing that makes our compounds and our products a little bit different is just that, is that, she took things that didn't necessarily grow together and put them together for that symbiosis. So like, instead of just doing sea moss, bladderwrack, and burdock root like everybody else would do, she was like, we need something for, iron, and we need something for chlorophyll. So we don't have like a whole bunch of different compounds. These are things that can go together. So you got your sea moss for your minerals, and you got your burdock root for its minerals, because they're a little bit different. You got the 2 sea vegetables, but then those sea vegetables are not high in iron. So you need the iron. Burdock has that, but it only has trace amounts of everything. And so in order to strengthen those two, she was like, all right, let's do the nettle, and let's do something that nobody's expecting. Let's throw watercress in there. And the watercress, the nettle, give it that iron and give it that chlorophyll, and kind of make that symbiosis of all of those herbs together. And I think what makes it different is just that intent. A lot of compounds, and I don't want to say anything bad about anybody else's compounds, but there's a lot of people that once they figured out what the recipes were for Dr. Sebi, they just basically, copied the recipes. And they added like 1 or 2 things from someplace else, but that forethought to add things together that go together that don't necessarily grow together is not something that I see a whole lot of. And sometimes folks throw things together that don't have anything to do with one another, that might even counteract and cancel one another out, and they just may not know it. But I'll hear some ingredients and be like, those two, one is an astringent, and the other is a blood cleanser. I don't think those two should be in the same compound. But unless you really, study the herbs and you take it back to the eclectics and you take it back to, herbal knowledge, you probably aren't going to know that. And the thing that made it so special about Dr. Sebi is he improved upon the eclectics, because that's the reason why he used to say, comfrey, you know, don't use that. Stop
Mm-hmm.
using peppermint. It's going to freeze the brain. Those were the things the eclectics were using. And they were like all, you know, all 100% doubling down on those things. And he was like, nah, 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 nah. When he did his whole steam engineer thing and he came up with the alkalinity and the pH, you know, being
I
alkaline,
I saw that in your book. I was like, okay, he know the story for real.
that. And he went home to Ma and was like, Ma, listen to this. And he came up with that. That's when everything, that you could tell that that's when everything changed, because then he was able to select the herbs that would give him that alkaline pH and kind of get rid of everything else. So he revolutionized what the eclectics were doing. And then he also made herbal medicine available for mass production and mass distribution. Whereas eclectic medicinal practitioners would show up with a leather bag, you know, and they'll put a couple
True.
and you know, give you like a little something. But he was like, nah, we gonna produce this and he
Mm-hmm.
out to the masses. And that was, they weren't using capsules, they were pressing pills. You know, he was like, we're gonna use capsules, we're gonna do the compounds this way, we're gonna have the, you know, the lupullo, and we're gonna use, you know, hops for the nervous
Mm-hmm.
system. Like, dude was ill. He was crazy with it. Like, once you, if you get into like ethnobotany and you're into like studying the herbs, and then you reflect on what it was that he did, like, you just, your head explodes. Like the forethought, like you could tell he was doing mushrooms or something, because he was coming up with stuff that was just like,
Oh, he definitely was doing mushrooms.
he was coming up with stuff that something was talking to him, you know. So
He
yeah.
gave me some mushrooms one day, man, and I'm glad I did it, but I would never do it again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm glad I did it. After I did the mushrooms that he gave me, one thing I can say, I'm not afraid of death anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I felt limitless while I was on them. I didn't feel weak until I got back inside my body.
Right.
So trust me, those mushrooms is no joke, but I won't do it again.
Yeah, yeah.
Too much power in
It's
this.
a whole other dimension. And when you over there, there's all kinds of things can come to you, and you bring that back into
Yeah.
reality with you. And you're like, you
Mm,
know what I learned while I was out there? This, you
yeah.
know, and apply it. So I can tell that's what he did.
Nah, definitely. I'm crossing out some of my questions because you answering them as we talking. So I like that. I like that. All
Yeah.
right. Let me get to this one. What inspired you guys to do the book? The
Well,
books, plural.
the books were mostly, you know, I was coming up with, you know, well, I used to watch a lot of like Top Chef and Iron Chef, and to me, taking Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide and putting it on the fridge and cleaning everything out and only using the ingredients that were on that guide was kind of like one of those shows where they bring you a box and they're like, here, you got to make, you know, 5 dishes and you can only use these ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was like a challenge to do that. So that's where a lot of the cookbooks came from. You know, the Beyond Vegan chickpea garbanzo book with all chickpeas, because I was like, this is cheap, they're nutritious, they're easy to use, they take on flavors really well, and you can do
Yep.
so many different things with them. Let me do a whole book. But the Alkaline Eclectic was really inspired because of COVID. When COVID hit, after COVID hit, we lost a lot of friends, a lot of family. We thought, okay, you know, COVID, this is COVID-19. We the shit. We know how to, we
Mhm.
can heal. You know, everybody's gonna be on board with what we're doing. We were so wrong.
Yeah.
Nobody was on board with what we was doing. They was like, if you don't want to take the jab, and you don't want to wear a mask, and you don't want to put the swab in your nose, we don't want nothing to do with you. We were getting shadow banned for things we were saying online.
Yep.
All the platforms platforming us and like making it so you couldn't see what we were saying. Friends and family didn't want to talk to us. They didn't want us coming around. And it was pretty spiritually damaging, because, you know, here we are thinking, you know, everybody comes to us, they trust us, you know, with their health, they trust us to give them the right information. But then when that thing hit, everything that people thought of us and about us completely went out the window. And we were like, okay, so now no one's thinking about what Dr. Sebi brought to the table. Like, no one cares about the alkalinity and how to use the herbs, and the herbs are for the healing of the nation, and you don't need the medicines, and we
Ain't
can
give
cure
them none of
ourselves
that.
and
Mhm.
strengthen the immune system. None of that's applicable no more. So
Mhm.
we were like, you know what? We got to actually solidify this thing. Because, you got people out there calling him a quack, saying he wasn't a doctor, all of these things. And to us, that just didn't sit right because of the history that we knew of it. We knew that a lot of this came before him.
Mm-hmm.
So calling him a quack is basically saying that the American Medical Association was a quack, that the eclectic medicine practitioners were, and that all of that stuff was. And that didn't make sense. It didn't sit right with us. And I know that he wanted to institutionalize the knowledge. So we said, all right, well, there's a lot, but we're not going to cover everything. We're going to start with the foundation, the basics, what inspired us, and we're going to put it together in a code of principles, which is why the Alkaline Eclectic has a code of principles in it, which are basically the code of principles that alkaline practitioners and Dr. Sebi would follow in succession in order to give you a foundation of how this whole thing works. So it's, things like hydration,
That's why I
detox.
told you this is a starter kit for
Yeah,
anybody. It's for
yeah,
anybody who want to transition into even if you're in this world already.
yeah.
This is like it's co-signing a lot of things that we know already.
There was like a whole another 2 books on the cutting room floor that we didn't put in here
I
because it
could
was like
imagine.
it'd be too much. Let's
Hmm.
just give a baby food. You don't want to give a
Hmm.
baby a steak because it's
Okay,
just
too much
too
work.
big, too much. Yeah. So we were like, let's just put what's in here that's applicable, something for people to follow and know exactly what it is that they need to do, and we can totally fill in the blanks later on. And that's what we did.
Nah, great job. That's like one of my favorite books. I'm almost done reading it,
Yeah.
and I like the fact that stories that I heard out of Dr. Sebi's mouth, I hear him, and I,
Yes.
I could tell you followed him.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and one thing I want to commend you on is not embellishing, not adding nothing extra
Right.
factual information. Because I know
Yeah.
some people that would know a little bit and then they put their own spin on it. No,
Yeah.
that's straight up like information that I heard from Sebi.
Even put a little bit of the beef in there because he had beef with a few folks.
Oh,
And
of course, you know that. You know that.
a few
More
folks that he
than
didn't mess with,
more
and so
you. Look, let me talk about. Now I ain't even gonna get to go there, but all right.
there were times where if someone invited him to speak somewhere and he knew somebody else was going to be speaking there
he
that he didn't
wasn't.
really mess with, he wouldn't go.
He wasn't going. He would
Wouldn't do
always
it.
ask, "Who's gonna be there?" or "Who?" Nah,
Who's
I'm
going?
good.
Can't
All
make it.
right. Let me get to my next question. All right. Talk to me about the X39, brother.
Hmm. X39 stem cell activation patches. People still think I'm crazy. When we like 12 years ago, when we were talking about CMOS, people thought we was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I started making chicken sandwiches out of chickpeas, they thought I was crazy. And now I'm talking about X39, they think I'm crazy. But what X but
You're
this
ahead
is
of your time. You're ahead of your time.
this is not new technology. I keep
Mm-hmm.
trying to tell you, it's not new technology. This is old technology. This is ancient, like Egyptian technology, where you use your own red light therapy from your body to use red. There's only 2 ways to reactivate dormant stem cells. By the
Isn't
time we
that how, isn't that how they got Drago stronger with those patches?
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, by the time you turn 30, you lose about 50% of your stem cell activity. By the
Oh
time you
wow.
turn 60, you lose 90% of your stem cell activity. And that's why we age,
Mm-hmm.
because like it makes sense, because by the time you're fully developed, you're not growing teeth anymore, you're not going through puberty, you're a developed human. So your stem cells, they don't die, you don't lose them, they just go dormant. And in order to reactivate them, there's a number of ways to do that. One would be a stem cell injection, where they take the bone marrow from a healthy individual, probably a young person, they centrifuge it, and then they stick it, say you torn a rotator cuff or something, they'll stick it in there and it'll heal right up.
Is
So
that the
like
picture on your website when you and your wife got your mouth open, like when they stab somebody in the stomach?
that's the GLP-1 weight loss drugs that
Okay,
have
okay, okay,
side effects. That was
okay.
that. But say like an ex-basketball player like John Sally, he he's a vegan, good brother, he's all over the place. He loved Dr. Sebi. His knees were
Oh
messed
wow.
up. He went and he got the injection into his knees, and he swear by it because he's dancing around and he's feeling
Hmm.
this, loving it, healed right up. That's one way. So they take them from a bone marrow, or they take them from a woman's placenta, and they take the stem cells, they centrifuge it, they stick it in you. It's like $5,600 to $10,000, and it doesn't happen here in the U.S. You got to go out of the country to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Other way is the red light therapy bed. If you lay in one of those beds, they put the red light on you. That will activate and stimulate stem cell activity. Those are the two ways to do it. And that's like $130 for a 30-minute session. But with red light therapy from the X39, what this does is, say I was in the bushes and you had on night vision goggles. All you would see is my red light signature in the bushes with the goggles on, like you were a military person or a hunter. You would just see my red light therapy. Well, that red light emanates from your body 3 to 4 inches from your body at all times. It's happening right now with all of us. So that red light, what's in the patches are crystals. And those crystals then reflect that light back into the body at specific acupressure points. Most of your stem cells are around here or around your waist. As you can see, I got one on right now. This one is glutathione.
Glutathione, that's my favorite word.
So, that's for the immune system. And so it reflects that back in, and it stimulates something called your GHKCU. Those are your copper peptides. And if anybody that listened to Dr. Sebi would remember, he would talk about carbon and copper, and you put them together and they rub together and they create what's called resonance. And resonance is electricity. And so in stimulating those copper peptides, you're re-stimulating. Those copper peptides are responsible for your dormant stem cells, and it brings them back into existence, back into work. And when your stem cells are reactivated, the body behaves like a younger person. And in doing so, it eliminates pain, it eliminates brain fog, it gives you energy, it improves your circulation, it reduces inflammation, it improves your digestion. It's doing all of that because the body is responding and it's acting like a younger person would. And young people heal quickly. They recover faster. They have more energy. Like, they have energy they don't know what to do with. I mean, to be honest with you, truth be told, it's past my bedtime right now. And I'm sitting here talking all out like it's 12 in the afternoon. For me, I'll be 54 in January, and I work out. I'm up at 3:30 in the morning. I work out like I'm 30. I'm sprinting, lifting heavier weights, and I'm able to do it a few days in succession without feeling sore, without feeling like I need to take days off to recover. And that's because this is one of the things that I've added to my regimen, and I started using it with my clients also, because what I found is that I'll do a month-long program with somebody, and 2 weeks in, they go on vacation and have, lemon pepper wings or, lemon cake or something. And
It's the lemon pepper wings that always get you.
They're like, yo, we was at bottomless brunch and I kind of fell off. I gained a few pounds back. I might have to start over. And now here I am adding extra sessions to try and help them get to where it is that, they need to go. But when I found that when I started giving these as part of my program, that it would help them with consistency. It'll help them stay on. It'll help inflammation go away quicker. So this thing was kind of like taking my job in a way, where it would take me 30 days to get someone to somewhere where the inflammation is down. They got better digestion. They're able to work out now or go on walks or whatever. And then I give them this, and they're doing that in like 3-4 days. Like, they're like, stem cells are activating. They're like, wow, I feel really good. I was taking Motrin for the pain, and now I'm not taking it no more. Now that I started doing this, and I'm like, say it. This is stem cell activation. It actually works. So,
and you have those on your website?
Yes and no. Not on my website, but I have a link to them that is on my my links page from the link in bio on my Instagram. So all the others watching on Instagram is the link in my bio. But actually, on the website it says Eclectic Healing Center at the top. If you hit that, it'll take you to it. So yeah, technically.
Okay, you got to send me that link so I could put it in the what you call it on this page so they can go straight to it.
Okay, yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah.
Okay, so, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something real quick. I do Tai Chi and I do push-ups, sit-ups, but recently, maybe about a month or two ago, I added trampoline in my life. Brother, what is it about that trampoline that just activate everything from my head to my toe? And I'm thinking I started off with I said, I'm gonna do 30 minutes because I'm thinking, bro, I could only do I'm up to 15 minutes now, but
You good? You better than me.
I could only do 5 minutes in the first 2 weeks. And the
Bro.
reason why I'm up to 15 minutes now, because I got an 8-year-old son and
Yeah.
he do 20 minutes like it ain't nothing.
That's my wife. She's doing it every morning. And I tried to do 5 minutes. And I was like,
What?
all right. She was like, yeah, just put it on and do a couple of songs, put your favorite music on and just do. And I was like, all right, I'm going. And I'm like, all right, I only got like 2-3 minutes left, bro. I barely got to 4 minutes. And I was like, all right, I'm tapping out. I'd rather go lift some weights or do sprints on the treadmill than do that. But it's all about the lymphatic system. That jumping
Yes.
up and down, it's the inertia. When you hit the inertia before you go back up, it's just going to shake and shake the lymphatic system, and it just gets that lymphatic system going. And she was telling me a fun fact the other day. She was saying that 10 minutes on the trampoline is like 30 minutes of running on the treadmill. So anything
Oh,
that you do
wow.
on the trampoline, you can multiply that by 3 times. That's what you would have to do. You would have to do 3 times that on the treadmill. So for me
Oh,
doing
so
a
I found a
30-minute
cheat
run,
code. I found a cheat
all I
code.
need to do is 10 minutes on
Mhm.
that, and I'd be good to go instead of doing 30 minutes on the treadmill. And it's tough. You would think you're just bouncing up and down, but it's work, man. It's
It's a
work.
workout. It's a workout.
Keep doing it in order for you to do more and do more and do more. So if you're doing like 10, 15 minutes, you
Yeah,
better.
I'm up to 15 minutes. For the last week and a half, I got to the 15-minute mark, and it feels good. It feels good. And the floor actually feels like it's moving when you get off of the trampoline.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, man. You feel like you're actually still going, and you got all your circulation is going too when you finish. So
Yeah. So anybody, I bought my trampoline. I bought the B Cam, I believe, on Amazon. It was only like $140 or something like that.
yeah.
Fits right under the bed. I love it. I love it.
She's got that, and she's got that weighted hula hoop. I think it's like a 3 or 4 pound hula hoop with the
Hmm.
ribs inside. So when you do it, it just beats up the lymphatic system and gets your gut all nice and tight.
All
So
right. I said I got you on the phone on the line. So let me ask you. That just came out of my head right now.
good one.
Okay, let me ask you this question right now. Can you name me about 5 healers today that inspire you, that you look at and be like, okay, they doing their thing?
Willie Lynch Jr.
Oh, that's my brother. You said Junior too fast. You gotta go Willie
No,
Lynch
Willie Lynch
Jr.
Jr.
There you
Yeah,
go.
East St. Louis, not St.
Okay,
Louis,
not St. Louis, East St. Louis.
St. Louis. So you got to get it right, or else he'll let you know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
um,
I
Willie
want
Lynch.
to shout. I want to say thank you to Willie Lynch Jr. because one of the reasons that we even on this live right now is because Willie Lynch. One thing I like about Willie Lynch, he keeps it 1,000 with you,
Dow, Dow,
and
Dow.
I
Yeah,
I I I love being around people like that because there's no gray area. It's grown
yeah,
men talk all the time. So
right.
he asked me straight up, "What's going on with you and Crush Foster?"
Yeah,
And that's why I told him I thought you was a cop or something. Like, I didn't know you was a healer and a chef. So
yeah,
when he asked me about you on his show, I honestly, had he asked me about anybody trying to get Victor out of jail, you'd have been the first person that jumped in my mind. Because when Victor was getting in trouble, you was the main one calling me. So
yeah,
when he told me, say, yo, G, he's one of us. And
yeah,
for him to say something like that,
yeah.
any preconceived notions I had out the door, I put my ego out the door and I reached out to you. I said, yo,
Yeah,
brother, talk
you
to
did.
me. You
That's
feel
right.
me?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So salute to Willie Lynch Jr. just for,
Yeah. And that's
keeping it.
funny too, because I remember I was talking to Victor a lot. He was barely speaking English. He was still in Honduras, and he had this little phone, and he was texting. So I think when he finally got here and he was getting in trouble, the only phone number he remembered just off the top of his head, because they would always take his phone, was
Yep.
mine.
Was your
So he'd
number.
call me and tell me, "Yo, something is up. Call G," and I'd be like, "All
Uh-huh.
right, what am I doing? Call G," and then I talk to you, and you'd be like, "Well, did you call Lonnie?" And I'm like, "I don't have a number." Like, all right, don't worry, I got it. And
Uh-huh.
so yeah, that's how that would go. But yeah, Willie Lynch Jr.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I have to say my because
Mm.
so that was like the beginning. I didn't even know what was going on when she was talking to me on the phone. Like, take them peas and them carrots out. You got to have
Mhm.
so many in there. I was like,
Mm.
I don't know. And
Oh,
then I started.
real quick about my eye. My eye was Dr. Sebi's second wife, not his first wife.
Right, right.
His first wife was Melba,
Okay,
Melba Bowman. She's the one that he married in New Orleans.
yeah.
But
Okay.
my eye was the wife that he learned healing with. So in the alkaline community, that's his first wife.
Right. Okay. Okay.
All
And then
right.
I started watching her. She was doing like a couple of little YouTube videos, like, well,
Yeah.
not really videos. She would be doing demonstrations and someone would record her. She wasn't really doing it for the recording, but someone was
I
recording.
was one of them who was recording her too. Because
But
you don't see her all the time. I need that.
yeah. And from her, I started learning about acorn squashes, and like she was so good at making those things that I learned those things from her. And
Okay.
let me see who else.
So you got two. Willie
I
Lynch
got,
Jr., my
yep.
my
My,
eye. We need three more.
damn, three more. Um, uh, damn, I can't remember the sister's name. She is related to Sebi, and she does Dr. Sebi Bolingo Dimension.
You're talking about Marina.
Marina. Yeah.
That's the black Wakanda for life.
That's a sister right there. I like her.
And you know what's so funny that you mentioned her? Marina was the president of the the Bolingo Dimension. Dr. Sebi called me and
Mhm.
I went to his house to record Marina. I still have
Yeah,
that video. I just never put it out.
right.
But that whole $200 million project, Marina was the head of that.
Yeah, yeah. She's good.
It's funny
Um,
that you mentioned her. I got to reach out to her.
my uh my wife,
I was about
she's
to say, don't get killed.
yeah,
Don't
no,
get
no,
choked up.
she's bad. She's bad. She's a bad mama jamma.
Uh-huh.
She's so close to me that when you say think of people, I'm thinking outside the house. Um,
Just know she's in choking distance.
yeah, but she on the other side of the house. But
Okay.
um, let me think. So that's what, three? I need two
Hmm.
more.
Two more.
Um, I don't know if this was no. I'm having a hard time now. Um, Dr. Sabi's boy that he got locked up with. Um,
Pablo
uh,
Medina.
Pablo.
Hmm.
Pablo. Pablo,
Pablo.
he know his herbs because he used to be with Sebi all the time. So whenever,
Dr. Sebi told me when I met him, I haven't made herbs in years. Pablo do everything.
right,
I'm the one with the big mouth.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's a fact.
Pablo know his herbs,
Hmm.
and so you need one more.
One more.
Man, that's tough. That's a tough one, and I know it's probably so many right up, but I can't off the top of my head. I can't think of
Hmm.
any. Um, shoot. Oh, um, Dread, Dread Guinness from Blueberry Cafe in New Jersey, in
Talk
Newark,
to
New
me about him. The reason why I'm asking you because I was hoping you said people that I didn't know because
yeah.
to give them that opportunity to shine. Talk to me
Dread,
about him.
Dread is the man. They got Blueberry Cafe. Him and Rashina Burrows in Newark, New Jersey, on what they call Electric Avenue, because she's got a bunch of storefronts. And Blueberry Cafe and Zucchini Bar are right next to each other. And
Hmm.
Cafe, you could go in there and Dre he'll give you the food, he'll give you the herbs, he'll do meal plans. He kind of like really kind of in an area where it's real hood. It's got like all our peoples are around there. he's kind of like a beacon of light in that little area there where people can go and get healing herbs and healing food. And it's very, very consistent. You always know what you're going to get. He has a nice small menu of consistent, good tasting foods. And you know that you can go in there and you can count on good food, good herbs, smoothies, juices, and it's nice and compact. And he's able to do it like a 1-man or 2-man show. And being from the restaurant industry myself, I know what it takes to run a restaurant, and there's usually a whole lot going on, but he's able to basically run it from like one little area. And that always fascinated me, that his menu was really small and concise and effective. And so he was able to do it without stretching himself too thin. And I always like that about him. He's a good dude too.
What's the address there? Do you know?
It's Central Avenue. I can't remember the numbers, but it's Zucchini Bar and Blueberry Cafe. They're right next to each other in Newark, New Jersey. You can't miss it on Central Ave. If you pull that up, you definitely will find those dudes.
Okay. I got 3 more questions for you, brother. I hope I'm not taking up too much of your time.
Oh, we good.
But this is not all the time I get to have somebody like you on my platform. So I'm just trying to knock all these questions out.
Yeah.
All right. If Dr. Sebi was here, what would you tell him? Not ask him. What would you tell him?
I would tell him that his vision for institutionalizing something for us, the African biomineral balance, was absolutely a brilliant foresight. And that, I'm sorry that he didn't actually get it to fruition the way that he intended it, but there's a lot of us that kind of got it. We got you. We got the blueprint. We understand, where he was coming from, where things came from, and how he revolutionized what was in the past and brought it to the forefront. And that, to institutionalize it was a fantastic idea. No one else was thinking on that level. And especially now, I see some of these documentaries where they talk about, herbal health and herbal everything. They always talk about Chinese medicine and Western medicine and Ayurveda, and they talk about all of this stuff. But he was able to kind of poke holes, not so much poke holes, but basically give the nuance of, why those things were okay and why they worked for, those groups of people. But there's a group of people that's kind of being neglected where all of those things are concerned, and we need something specifically for them. And if we find that specific thing that is ideal for them, it will be ideal for everybody. And that was a concept that I never heard anybody talk about. I never heard anybody talk about minerals in a biological sense. You always hear about minerals like, iron and ore and, and magnesium. And you think of these things as metals, but he was the one that made that trifecta connection between the iron oxide, the plant, and then the iron that the plant would then reproduce and make, edible and consumable and assimilating to the human being. And that trifecta, the earth, the plant, and the human, he was the only person that I heard of make that connection, talking about minerals in a biological sense, as opposed to, like a metal or a substance that could be used for like building. And so when you think about iron, you think about, iron and metal, but no one really talks about how iron and metal becomes the iron that you can consume. And it does. It becomes the iron. It's not 2 different irons. It's the same iron, just that one has been transmuted through iontrophoresis by plants so that we can actually consume it. And I would tell him that was fascinating, and that I love the fact that he did that. And because he did that, we're here, where we are today with what we're able to do. So he was the bridge. He was definitely the bridge.
That's what's up. What's your educational background? Because you seem to know herbs well.
I'm just a geek. I mean, really, I went to school for architecture.
So, oh wow, okay.
I'm a builder and a creative. I've done music. I've done, dance. I was a graffiti artist. I was all out, all around.
What was your tag name?
Crush One. And so anybody, if anybody from Boston, they'll know my stuff was everywhere. And so, the reason I'm able to absorb the information about the herbs is because I'm just a geek. And that's what I love about Willie Lynch Jr. He was one of the only send me books. He'd be like, "Yo, check this book out. You got this book? You got this?" I probably got a whole stack of books here from different ones that he recommended, and I'm like, "Ooh, gotta get that. Oh, I gotta get that. Oh, I gotta get that." And I'd do the same thing. If I find a book, I'll take excerpts on my phone and I'll just text it to him like, "Yo, you got this? Have you ever heard of this?" And we build on books. So yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
when it comes to all the herbalists that I think are like the smartest, like I can add you to my list because I just have a list of three. I'm not
yeah.
I'm not saying that all the other herbalists aren't smart, but when it comes to intellectual break-ins, I can always think of KT the Arch degree,
Yeah,
Willie Lynch Jr.,
yeah,
um, Dr. Inky,
yeah.
and you now. I add you to that list. So I have a list of four.
That's
Not
crazy.
saying that,
I would have mentioned them too if I was thinking. I would have mentioned KT and Anki.
yeah,
Anki, freaking hilarious, yo. I love that
yeah,
dude.
very, and um,
I'm laughing right now just thinking about that
you
dude. Like
know,
he's so
he need to be on TV. I will watch him all day. I will watch him all day.
very entertaining.
But when I think of smart intellect, like those are my three, and I can add you to that list now. Not
Yeah,
saying that I don't deal with Pablo Medina,
yeah,
Abdul, Victor Bowman. When it comes to breaking this down, like y'all the four that I feel can go represent us in court somewhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
All right. So I'm gonna ask you. I got two more questions.
yeah.
Okay. What are your future goals and upcoming projects?
Okay, so future goals would be to do more live presentations and events because that's where we came from anyway. We used to do presentations. We had a brownstone in Bed-Stuy, and we would have folks come in, and it would be like standing room only because we had the whole first floor of a brownstone, and we used to just lick that out, have the herbs up and different, different cases and stuff, and people would come in, and we would do cooking lessons and do speeches and speak to them about certain things. And we definitely want to do more live presentations again and be in front of people and be able to kind of show them what we're doing and what we're going through and what we're able to share from our life experience. So definitely more in-person live events, traveling around to different cities. Yeah. And so definitely that for the future, more lives.
Okay,
Um,
where will we find on your website? Would you have a schedule where you guys are going to be at? Because you guys have some amazing information.
we would be posting it on our Instagram and sending it out to our email list. Our website is not necessarily set up to do, and that's something that I got to change on there so that we can update, like live events. But mostly on social media, on my Instagram and on our Facebook are the two places we usually would put things. If we were going to do like an event or something live, it would be on my Instagram, which is Crush Foster
I
on
was
my
just about to
Instagram.
ask you. Hmm.
Yeah. And the other one is my wife Kelly Keelo Foster and Alkaline Eclectic Herbs. Those are the three that are like our main social media handles. Oh,
Okay,
my phone died. No, I'm still on.
okay, okay. I got a last question before my last question because I meant to ask you that this is my wife question actually.
Okay.
What Where do the name Crush come from in Kilo? Because I believe your name is Carl and
Yeah.
your wife's name is Kelly.
Yeah.
So where do those names come from?
Well, Kilo, because her grandfather is Daniel Keel, and she wasn't given the last name Keel, so she changed it to Kilo as homage to her grandfather. The
Mm.
name Crush came from orange soda because when I was a kid, after school, I would go in Boston, I would go to this place called the Lee School. And the Lee School was the community center where you would go and hang out after school if you just didn't want to go home by yourself and just be in the house. I would go to the
Yeah.
community center and I would play basketball there. And
What you
they
play? The one, the two, the three?
it would usually be like, either one-on-ones or
Oh,
like
okay.
3-on-3 half
Got
court, nothing
got
crazy. I
all right,
wasn't
all
running.
right.
He wasn't running full courts. I was
Oh,
young, so
okay.
big dudes would run the full court. Billy and Bobby. twins and cats like that. But they had a vending machine and they had Orange Crush in it or Sunkiss. And I would either buy Orange Crush or Sunkiss. And I was a kid. I didn't want water. I wanted soda. So I would drink a whole bunch of those. And by the time it was time to go, I would have soda cans lined up on the floor of the gym up against the wall. And the custodian was this dude that had a big bunch of keys on him all the time. He's like, all right, come clean up, Mr. Crush. Clean up your cans. Get your cans out of here, Mr. Crush. And I was like, huh. All my friends were graffiti artists. And I was like, well, what's my name? What am I going to write?
Crush.
So I started writing the word crush. And I would just start tagging everywhere. And like years went by of us being graffiti artists and doing murals and doing tags and doing throw ups and doing trains and doing all kind of crazy.
You was bombing trains too?
Bombing everything. Like it would look like somebody put a grenade and graffiti and it just exploded. When we got off the train, everything was everywhere. And, not exactly something that I'm proud of today as an adult, but at the time, that's what we was into. And, so a lot of folks know me for vandalizing stuff.
Okay.
Crush just kind of stuck, so
Mm-hmm.
Foster just kind of became my moniker going forward.
You ever notice that graffiti is the only art that you'll see all over the world? I go all over Africa, China, anywhere I'll find graffiti.
Yeah, that's the hieroglyphics of the people with a voice.
Yeah.
People who use their hands to explain what's going on and to express themselves. It's definitely a big form of expression. And we don't really need the bomb anymore because now there's legal walls, there's all kinds of different ways to express yourself. So it's come a long way. It's actually respected now.
True. All right, my last question. All right. What's a simple step you can tell listeners to lead them towards healing, to get them started in healing?
First medicine is water. That's the first medicine. And you got to hydrate. I can't stress that enough because we know that. A lot of folks know that. But there's something about drinking enough water that just somehow escapes us. And we have to train ourselves to drink water. And there's a lot of H3O and get everything from your fruits and get the fruit water. And I stay with seeded watermelon juice. But I think that hydration is really a big deal. And it doesn't necessarily have to be water, but it's got to be hydration. And all hydration are electrolytes. And electrolytes are just minerals that take on a charge when they make contact with water. So as long as you can do whether
please let them know. Please let them know you ain't talking about crushed soda.
Nah.
Okay.
Not crushed soda. As long as you put some electrolytes like salt on your tongue or what have you, or drink your water and get your electrolytes from fruits or whatever, hydration is extremely important. I would say that's the very, very first step is hydration.
Okay.
And which is simple. It's not like a big secret, toward healing. But the first thing is hydration. And then the next thing I would say is try to avoid as many acidic causing foods as possible. Those are the two simplest things that you can do. They're not easy, but they're simple. And so if you start there, you can definitely make some progress with yourself.
No, thanks for sharing that with me. And I also wanted to ask you something that I actually seen with Dr. Sebi. Whenever someone come to him that was sick, he would never talk about herbs to them. He would talk about hydration, drinking half their body weight of water at least. At least. And he would, because he would said, if I give you my herbs right now, your body is toxic. It has starch. So these herbs, they gonna work a little bit, but why not prepare your body? So he would have them prepare their body, take them 3 weeks. So after the 21 days, then he would give them the herbs. That's why when they came to Usha village, nobody got herbs that first 3 weeks.
Wow.
Because he's preparing the body. Because if let's say if I'm eating steak, I'm eating chicken, I'm eating lamb, and then I take your herbs. So once your herbs is in my body, it doesn't know whether the flesh that is going to is the meat I just ate or whatever's dormant in my body. So you wasting a lot of the herbs.
I see. Right.
So I used to always ask them, why you're healing? when you heal people directly,
Yeah.
it's so high. Because he
Yeah.
was like, because I teach people how to get out of the way of their body. For
Right.
It's no herb stronger than your immune system. So this is something not coming from me. I would just listen to him tell these people,
Yeah.
and he herbs was never the factor for him in the beginning. He would
Right.
prepare their body for healing. So for all
Right.
the people that's out there that's healers, please try to implement that into your regimen, because if you prepare the people for your herbs, those herbs is going to do what they're supposed to do. But if they taking it in and eating chicken, eating,
Right.
they're going to say, oh, these herbs don't work, but they're not going to say that they eating stuff that's going to stop the herbs from working.
Yeah, and that was
So
the reason for the nutritional guide. The nutritional guide's main purpose was so that the herbs could work. Because if you don't change your diet and you're eating all this other stuff and you don't switch to simple, plant foods that nourish the body, the compounds wouldn't necessarily work because
not
you
the
just and
supposed
them
to.
toxins and they just be canceling each other out. And so that's why
And
the wisdom of Dr. Sebi lives.
yo, his first test, he told me, he asked me, did I like chicken? I like, hell yeah, I love chicken.
Yeah,
So he called one of the people and told them to bring me some chicken.
yeah.
So they brought me some chicken and they put it right in front of me, but it was raw chicken.
Oh man.
So he was like, eat it. You said you love it, eat it. And I'm like, I can't eat it. You gotta season it and cook it. And then he said, what seasoning? And I was like, the herbs and stuff. He said, how can I eat my herbs without your chicken, but you can't eat your chicken without my herbs? He said,
uh,
isn't that nature trying to tell you something?
yeah.
And I couldn't answer that. Because he said I needed herbs on the chicken in order for me to digest it and eat it. But
Right.
he said, how can he eat his herbs without chicken, but I can't eat chicken without the herbs? And then he would always talk about, like, when we see cows around. Have you been to Honduras yet?
No.
You got to come, brother. Willie Lynch is coming soon. You
Oh
guys
yeah.
have to come. You have to come. You see cows walking up. That's the first place he told me, look at that cow eat and tell me something. And I was like, he said,
Eating
the,
grass.
the meat you eat don't eat meat.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I was like, wow. So, brother, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. I hope this is not the last time you're going to be on my platform. I'm
Absolutely
looking
not.
forward to meeting Keelo Forster.
Yeah.
And please give him my love. And anytime you got my number, anytime you want to reach out or talk about something, I'm
Yeah.
right here, man. Thank you for sharing your wisdom.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, bro.
All right, anytime. All right, we out of here, guys.
All right. Peace, everybody.
Peace.